Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to Automation Hour. This is our 29th episode, and in today's episode, we'll have Rakesh, who will be presenting. So all lines will be muted. Use the chat function to ask any questions about Rakesh's presentation, or if you have process automation questions in general. And if we don't get to your question, continue that discussion on our success community, Salesforce Automation Hour. At the end of the session, we will post the deck as well as the recording onto our YouTube channel as well as our website, AutomationHour.com, and the success community as well as Twitter. So for the series, this will be the second one in the intermediate series. And as we're looking ahead, if you have a cool use case and automation solution that you would like to share on Automation Hour, submit your idea via the website and we will be in contact. And we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Concrete.io, for sponsoring this webinar series for us. And here are your hosts, David Litton, Rakesh, and myself. All three of us will be at Dreamforce at doing various things. So David will be staffing the Lightning Experience and Process Automation booth in the Trailhead Zone in Moscone West. I think it's Wednesday and Thursday. I forgot to indicate Thursday. Rakesh will be Rakesh will be presenting in Process Automation Showdown number 2 on Wednesday, the 8th at 1 in Moscone West in the Admin Meadow Theater. And I will be presenting a breakout workflows, processes, triggers, and more. See the forest for the trees on Tuesday at 11:30 at the Marriott Marquis. And Process Automation Showdown number 1 on Monday at 1 in Moscone West in the Admin Meadow. So stop by and say hi to us. And with that, I am going to hand it over to the Automation Champion and our co-host Rakesh to do the session today.
Hey Jen, could you please make me the presenter so I can share my screen? Okay.
Did I get it to you, Rakesh?
Oh yeah, give me a sec.
Okay.
You can see my screen now.
I can. Thank you.
Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Rakesh Gupta. I'm blogger at AutomationChampion.com, author of Learning Salesforce Visual Workflow and Process Builder, Mastering Salesforce CRM Administrator, and couple more. I'm co-host of Automation Hour and leader of Mumbai and Navi Mumbai Developer User Group. And you can follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or you can follow my website as well, AutomationChampion.com. Okay, so here is the agenda of the day. We will discuss the basic terminology of visual workflow, difference between fast and record elements, a use case auto-generate renewal opportunity with line items, and then we'll discuss design and how we can build it using Flow and Process Builder, and later on we can try it. So let us start with the basic. What is a Cloud Flow Designer? So most of the time I found this question on success community or people asking me, what's the difference between Cloud Flow Designer, Flow, and Visual Workflow? So the Cloud Flow Designer is an application that allows system administrator to create a flow that you can use in Salesforce. Remember here, Cloud Flow Designer works on the Adobe Flash Player. So if you are using Safari or Mozilla Firefox, you need to install the Adobe Flash Player. If you're using Chrome, then Flash is inbuilt. And Cloud Flow Designer is just where we usually develop a flow. And that is called as Cloud Flow Designer. Then what is a flow? A flow is an application that executes your logic, interact with the Salesforce database, collect data from user, and then you can write your logic to process that. And that is called as a flow. And a flow can have multiple versions, max to max 50. And then what is a visual? What is visual workflow? So visual workflow is a product. You can see the image here. It's a product. So visual workflow that allows you to automate business processes by building flows and granting that flow access to user through various ways, either using featured license or using visual force pages or any other way. A flow is an application that execute your logic, interact with database, collect data from users. And a cloud flow designer is where we develop this. In another word, visual workflow is a product that allows you to automate business processes by building the flows. Visual workflow is similar to process builder. Process builder allows system administrator to build processes to automate a business process. So these are the three terms: cloud flow designer, flow, and visual workflow. Next, what is a connector? So connector is basically allow you to connect different elements in Salesforce flow. So when you develop a flow, you have multiple elements and you want to decide the direction. So you can use a connector to connect multiple elements in an order. Now, we understand that flow, cloud flow designer, visual workflow, and we have developed a flow. So there are how many ways through which you can run a flow? A lot. So personally, I know 18 plus different ways to run a flow. You can run a flow through custom button, custom URL, visual force pages, process builder, login flow, Salesforce for navigation menu, Lightning record page, Lightning app page, home page, inline visual force page, Apex class, Apex trigger, and so on. If you want to know more about it, you can visit my website or this blog. Next. Before going ahead, let's understand that what is SObject variable and SObject collection variable. So I'm going to use this two variable in my flow. So SObject variable allows you to store a complete record details. So variable is allow you to store just one value, like name, ID, phone, or establishment year. So you have to create 4 variables. When you want to use SObject variable, it allows you to store all the value in single SObject variable. So you don't have to create different variable. Whereas SObject variable allows you to store multiple records. So it might be possible your query returned 5, 6, 7, 8, you don't know actually. So you can use SObject collection variable. So it is very useful when you want to store multiple records. Next, what is the difference between record lookup and fast lookup? Most of the time when you want to interact with the database in flow, so you have to use either record element or fast element. So fast lookup and record lookup are the two things through which you can query the record. Fast lookup or record lookup basically allow you to fetch the data from your database, and then you can save those results into a SObject variable or SObject collection variable. Record lookup all allow you to save only one record at a time, whereas fast lookup allow you to store all the record that fast lookup return. You can use SObject variable or multiple variables to store record value. Here you can use SObject variable or SObject collection variable to store record value. In the record lookup, you have to map field with SObject variable or variable one by one. In the fast lookup, you don't have to map your field value with variable name. So you have to just select which field you want to store, and then Salesforce will automatically do the rest. Similar, what is the difference between record create element and fast create element? So when you want to insert the data into Salesforce database through flow, you have to use one of them, either record create element and fast create element. Record create element are very useful when you want to insert only one record. Whereas when you want to insert multiple record at a time, use fast create element. Fast create element or fast lookup element are used to bulkify your process. So anytime you want to bulkify your process, make sure that you are using fast create element first of all. So as I said that record create element allow you to insert only one record at a time, whereas fast create allow you to insert one or multiple record at a time. In the record create element, you can use variable or SObject variable to pass the value to variable to value, sorry. Here you can use SObject variable or SObject collection variable to create a record. Here we have to map the field. Here you don't need to map the field or anything. If you use multiple record create element or multiple lookup or multiple delete element in a flow, you can easily hit the governor limit. Remember, all Apex governor limit also apply to the flow. So 101 SQL error or 150 TML. So these are the common governor limit. To avoid governor limit, add all record that you want to create in a SObject collection variable and then refer in a fast create element. And here is my use case. Steve is working as a system administrator at Universal Container. He received a requirement from management to auto-create or auto-generate a new opportunity with line item once an opportunity is successfully closed. So you have an opportunity, and opportunity contains line item in Salesforce. So once an opportunity is successfully closed one, you want to automatically generate a new opportunity with line item. So this is a very common requirement. So if I jump to the Salesforce, here is the opportunity. And this opportunity may or may not have product. So many times you want, okay, so as soon as opportunity is successfully closed one, I want to generate a new opportunity with all line items. Or anytime an opportunity close one, I automatically want to create order to it. Or anytime an opportunity close one, I want to generate assets from opportunity product. So you can able to solve this requirement if you understand this. So goal is to understand how to use fast element, loop element, assignment, and decision element in a flow. So we will create a process builder that launch a flow and pass few data to it, and will process all our logic inside the flow. One thing, understand, don't create multiple processes in an object. If you have any scenario where you want to create multiple processes, it's the best create a process and use branching in your flow to better manage your business automation in your org. And then we'll create a flow to copy line items from existing close one opportunity. And then we'll try to close an open opportunity to test the process. Before going ahead, while working on the flow or Apex, make sure that you design it correctly. Without design, don't start any process or flow. So here is the design. A user will update an opportunity to close one. So the process gets called. In process, we are checking whether the stage is closed one or not. So if the stage is not closed one, stop it. If the stage is closed one, go ahead and launch an immediate action, that is the flow. The flow, first of all, create an opportunity, because in any case, once opportunity is closed one, we want to create an opportunity. Next, we will get all the opportunity line items from existing opportunity. So we'll use here fast lookup element to fetch all the line items from existing opportunity. Now here we will check whether existing opportunity has any line items or not. So if it does not have line items, we don't have to do anything, just stop it here. If it has line items, then we'll use loop element and assignment element to add all existing line item into a collection variable. And at the end, we will use the fast create element to insert all the line items into a new opportunity. So let me jump into Salesforce. Yeah. Okay, so as discussed in the design, so first you have to use record create element. So just drag and drop record create element here and then enter the name. Make sure they add description so people can understand why we have used this element. And next step is to select object in which you want to insert the record. So in our case, it's the opportunity object. Now, while creating an opportunity, name is required, close date is required, and stage is required. So for close date, I want to set today plus 180 days. So you cannot use directly formula here. So in the flow, go to the resource here and just double click on it and create a formula. You can use almost all formula that you can use in the normal, and today plus 180, or you can pass close date plus 180, whatever you like. And then these are my variables. These are my text variables, and I'm passing data for old opportunity name, price book ID, record type ID through process builder. And I'm adding this plus sign to make sure that this opportunity is created through flow. Now, when you have opportunity and opportunity is associated to the price book, so if I go to the opportunity here, when opportunity is associated to a price book, before adding that, you have to select a price book. So without adding a price book into an opportunity, it is not possible to add product. So here you have an option to choose price book, but in the programming we don't have. So there is a field on opportunity object called as price book to ID, and you have to here pass the price book ID. And I'm using the same price book ID of existing one, and will pass the value to this variable through process builder. Again, record type ID, you have to set the record type ID. I want to use same record type ID as the close one opportunity, so use a variable and will pass value through process builder. And then you can select the stage name here as per your business requirement. The benefit of using flow is it allows you to save a newly created opportunity ID into a variable that process builder does not allow. It's a limitation of process builder. The process builder allows you to create a record, but it does not allow you to save that ID in a variable, so you can reference it later in a process. Now click on OK, and then make sure that you use a screen element here to test that whether your opportunity is working or not. Many times you have the validation, custom validation rule written over in your org. So it might be possible this won't work, because let's say that I have a validation rule. When a stage name is prospecting, next step is required. So in such cases, if you complete a process and then test it, it will headache for you to debug it. So my suggestion is, when create element, use a screen element here, connect it, and make sure that it is working as per your design. Once we create an element, opportunity record here, next step is to use fast lookup element. As discussed, fast lookup element will give you all record, and you can able to store that record. So I'm extracting all the line item from opportunity, existing opportunity, that is opportunity we just closed one. And for opportunity product, the object name is opportunity line items. And here you have to pass where ID equals to old opportunity ID, the opportunity that we just closed one. And I have created a SObject collection variable. Thing you have to remember here is SObject collection variable is always refers to a object type. So make sure that you create all SObject variable or SObject for same object type. You cannot reference SObject of account to contact and vice versa. And then select all the fields that you required. These are the minimum fields that are required to insert opportunity line items into an opportunity. It might be possible if you want to create assets and something, you need to select different fields. Next step is decision element. Here I'm just checking if my SObject collection variable is null false. It means If it has at least one opportunity line item, then I want to go ahead, else stop it here. So this is what you have to use decision element. So decision element basically decide, like if you have a screen element where user can enter age or number or something, so you can validate that if age is greater than 18, then I want to display this screen. If age less than 18, I want to display something else. So you can use this decision element to decide your logic. Once you have decision element and you make sure that, okay, yes, there are few product line items there, then you have to use loop element. So as discussed, SObject collection variable may store one or multiple record. So loop element basically allow you to extract all the record one by one from your SObject variable. Sorry, SObject collection variable. So here, if I go to my slide back, so what loop will do, it will start from the first here. So it will extract first the record and process all the logic, then extract the second record, do the same for this, third and fourth, and as so on. So here we will use loop element, extract the data from SObject collection variable and store in a SObject variable of opportunity line item type. So it will extract record one by one. So basically it will pass first record to this. And here I'm using assignment element. Now, the thing you have to understand is this opportunity line item is currently associated with old opportunity line opportunity. So this line item is associated with old opportunity that we just closed one. So we have to remove the reference and add the new opportunity line items. For that, it's the best practice, create a new SObject variable. Don't use existing SObject variable, otherwise you're gonna hit some error. Okay, so here I have created a new SObject variable, new opportunity line items, and mapped the field from existing SObject variable, and you can pass new value like here. New opportunity line item is associated with new opportunity that we just created. What is the price book? So price book entry ID is the same of the existing old opportunity line item price book entry ID. What is the unit price? You can set 0 or 100, 200, or you can copy the price book unit price from existing line items. The quantity, you can select, you want to make sure that quantity is similar for the same as existing opportunity line item. So you can use that. Once you have that, one option is use fast create element here. Insert opportunity line item, and here you can use, we can disconnect this for a second and you can connect this one. But disadvantage of it is if you have more than 70 or 80 or more than 99 opportunity line items, then it will give you a DML exception error. Not 150, I think 149. So it will give you the DML exception error and all. So don't do this. This is not a best practice. You will easily hit the governor limit. So instead of doing that, we will connect into another assignment element. And this is simple here, nothing. I have just created another SObject collection variable of type opportunity line item and adding all my new line item that I want to insert into database. That's it. So this assignment element, what it will do, it will add all the newly created or newly assigned SObject line variable, that is opportunity line item, into this collection variable for the better management. And then connect to this. So what loop will do, it will extract first record, assign into a SObject variable, and it will add to the accessible collection variable. And this process is go each the number of record you have. If you have 4 record, it will go by number 4 times. Once done, use a fast create element and select your SObject collection variable that you want to insert into database and connect this to. And select this as a start element. So once you've done that, click on the save and save this flow as a auto launch flow. So auto launch flow is always launch automatically, and this flow, once you select the type flow, it required manual intervention to launch a flow. So once done, click on activate. Then we have to jump to the process builder. Give me a second. Okay. So create a process on opportunity object only when record is created or edited. And for the status here, make sure that set stays equals to close one and select this checkbox. So it will only fire when you change stays to close one from something else. And then I'm going to use an immediate action here. Launch a flow, select your flow, make sure that it is active, then only you can able to select here, and pass the value to variable that you are using, like account ID, opportunity ID, old opportunity name, and then price book ID. This is very straightforward, and make sure that it is active. Once done, go to opportunity. The price is prospecting, and give me a second. And let me edit this record and update to close one. And save this. Oh, good. Give me a second. Give me a second, let me build an opportunity flow process. This is because of process unable to find my flow that I have created. Opportunity. And then immediate action flow. What? This is a known backup flow. So when you try to save a auto launch flow, it automatically take a flow. Oh, basically, and this is my mistake. Give me a second. So you can see this opportunity is closed and one opportunity is created with opportunity product. That's it. And I come to know that what is the error because of anytime when you get the error, Salesforce will send an email. And this is very common error for me. So I easily understand what is this error and how to solve it. Back to Jen.
Okay, I'm going to give folks a few minutes to post any questions you might have about Rakesh's presentation or just any general process automation questions.
Yeah, someone said that flow is not auto launch flow, that I accept it. It was my mistake.
All right, Jamie has a question. How do you know how to use the pause button in visual workflows?
How do you know how to use pause button?
Yeah, do you know how to use pause buttons in visual workflow?
Yes, so to use pause button, first go to the process automation setting. Here, let's the user pause the flow, and then go to flow, any flow. For example, let me create a flow quick here. So use a screen element. And select here show pause button and let me add a random field here. And save this screen. And once you run it, you will get option to pause this flow. Pause this flow. So say that pause. So once you pause a flow, go to setup, flow, and you can able to find here all the pause flow here. You can resume it.
Rakesh, I don't think folks can see what you're doing on your screen.
Sorry, my mistake. Okay, sorry. Okay,
right.
yeah, let me repeat.
We can see it now.
Okay,
yep,
let
we
me
can see it now.
So go to process automation setting first. Enable let the user pause the flow. Okay. Second, create a screen element and make sure that you select show pause button. That's it, nothing else. And I just randomly add a field. Next, run this flow. And you let's say that I want to pause it. Click on the pause. Wait, 2, 3. Click on OK. That's it. Now, if I go to flow here, there is a section called pause. Based on your input, you can say here wait 1, 2, 3 or pause. You can resume it. And it will start from there. If you're using Salesforce one, I think there is a navigation. In navigation menu, you can select pause Let's there's a specific section for pause interview, I think.
See if there's any additional questions we might have out there. Someone said great overview. Okay, there's another question. How do you see the error by adding screen?
Error by adding a screen, okay. So for example here, let's say that record create, okay. And I'm going to insert lead. And to create a lead, it's required we have last name and company name. And that's I'm just passing last name equal to test123. Okay. Save this. Let me save this as a new flow. Now, when you run this, you will see a error message. This error message is not clear. So build a screen element here, and then where it is, I use a display text and say here display message. I use this fault flow message. This is just type here fault and it will give the flow.fault message. Add here. Okay. Give me a second. David, do you know how to use your fault element here? I think it should give you the option.
You have to draw 2 lines to the screen and then delete the first line.
I've done that, but maybe let's try again. So it will give you the option here called as fault, and anytime when you run it and it's failed, not working.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to the
so
record
the line has to go to the
and
record create.
drag the record create there and do it again.
Yep.
I've already done that. It's both way. I usually do this. If you connect this and then connect back and delete the first one.
Both have to both go to the screen.
No, didn't get you. What did you say?
Do the
record create to the screen twice.
Okay. Twice.
And I both trying to answer that one.
And then delete the first one.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Correct. Okay. Now, once you run it, you can able to see the error was required field missing, and that is company here. This is one way, and another way is like when you are processing anything, you can use a screen element to verify that what you want to achieve that is currently working.
All right. I don't see any additional questions. So I think, Rakesh, we could wrap up this automation hour since I think we're all out of questions. So thank you so much for presenting to us.
Thank you.
And join us for our next presentation in a few weeks after Dreamforce. And we'll talk to you then.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.